Hey residents of Meepletown, it is mid-16th century and Ivan the Terrible has ordered the building of what will be St. Basil's Cathedral. And so we are teams of architects charged with building it up. We're going to do that together in this cooperative game. No, it's not cooperative. Nope, we're going to build together the cathedral.
Red Cathedral. We're supposed to say that together.
Red Cathedral. Let's get to the table and check it out. Check it out. All right, here is the setup for Red Cathedral.
Oh, yeah.
And
look at that. I got you clapping every time. You're so excited about this game. You're clapping.
So we have our boards. I probably should have pulled out another one. This is the advanced side of the board. We're going to show you some of the gameplay.
I don't like that.
From that. They're both opposite, I think, right?
That's the way they should.
Oh, they are.
You put yours on the wrong way.
Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. All right, here's the board. We each have our own individual boards. Again, this is the advanced side. I'll explain why that matters in a minute. Here's the cathedral that we are building up. And on your turn, you can do one of three things. All right, you ready for that? One, you can place you can place your flag on one of these spots on the board. You're going to have to start with the base and kind of move your way upwards because that's how building works.
Is it called a flag or a banner?
Banner. You're going to take your banner and you're going to put it up there. Then you're going to take one of the token off of there and then put it onto your board. We'll show you how that works in a minute.
Some might say we have good banner.
Next thing that you can do is you can start building on some of those spots that you have claimed, and you will take up to 3 resources from your board and place it out on the card, and if you complete it, then you'll do things. That's the second thing. And the third thing, which is what I'm probably going to do right now. No, that's not true. That's not true. I won't. It's your turn first. Okay. Yeah. Third thing you can do is you're going to be taking the action of taking resources on the board, basically looking at the number of the die, moving 1, 2, 3, that many spaces, taking the actions there. We'll explain that when that happens, but I just want to give you an idea. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. However, let me show you something real fast. We want prestige points. That's what we want. That's what these little symbols are. 1, 2, 3. But you're going to have to get influence points, are the smaller points. That's represented by these crosses. You will be getting those throughout the game too. Early on, you want to get as many prestige points as you can because it's skipping ahead multiple influence points. By the end, 65 and higher, maybe 62 and higher, it doesn't really matter.
That's right.
There we go.
Whoever has the most prestige wins.
Yep, that's right.
So because of that, on my first move, I'm going to jump over here. Now I take the die and I move it 1 space because it has a 1 there. I will mention at the beginning that you can pay 1 coin, it says it here, to go 1 extra space, or 2 coins for 2 extra spaces or whatever, if you are using your color die, which I'm yellow, or the white die. I didn't use a yellow die, so I can't do that. I'm doing that to get 2 of these gems here. And you also notice that my banners are actually clogging up how many resources I can have, because putting out ornaments on here costs you, well, you can spend those gems whenever you use those 2 gems together. You can get 3 big old fat prestige movement forward. I'm going to try to get that early in the game. But the last thing I do, and I got that because I'm there, well, not the last thing, I'm going to also roll those, and then I can take this action if I'm on this quarter of the board. So I can immediately get an influence, or I can trade in 3 to get a prestige. I'm not going to trade in 3. It would be nice to go up several points off the bat, but on this side of the board, there's 2 sides of the board. On this side of the board, it's going to cost me 3 coins if I want to build an engine with dice, with whichever dice I'm using, or when I'm using action, getting other things like that. I want to save the money for that. So I'll just take 1 influence, which probably might be useless. Who knows?
Okay. All right.
I might go up prestige.
Turns are pretty fast in this game for the most part. I am going to place my banner to start off at the very beginning. Now, in the advanced board, you can take the banners off of here as well, and those white spots and the white die spots. I'm going to take it here. What this does is going to open up more spots for me to be able to take more resources. I think I'm going to place it here, which means I'm going to take this blue die, which means wherever I put it, whenever that die is triggered, it will trigger the blue die wherever it is. You'll be able to take whatever resources in that spot. I'm going to go ahead and knock this one out. It's going to cost me, like John said, 3 of my rubles. And now I can place this out onto my board, which is an ornament. So when a bottom level is completed, I can spend resources to put this out on the temple as an ornament and then gain prestige points.
Yep.
All right.
I'm going to do something very similar to Dean. I'm going to take this one. And you'll see here that this means if I complete it, I'm going to get 8 influence and 4 rubles. I'm going to spend all 3 of mine to place it. And I'm going to do the same thing Dean did. I'm going to go ahead and place it down here so that I can unlock this and see what happens.
There we go. All right, now I'm thinking right now, what do I need? I need to get some wood, some stone, and gold. And so I think what I'll do is, remember, as I just pointed out, anytime I move the yellow die, I'm going to be able to trigger wherever the blue die is. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, I think. Did you roll the dice?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go 4, 5, 6, which since there's only 1 there, I'm only going to get 1 gold. But I only need 1, and I'm not a greedy person, John. I'm just going to get what I need to take. I will then trigger the blue die right there, which is going to give me a purple jewel, setting me up to be able to use that for ornaments or some of these different locations have it as well. And then I can, if I want. So you're usually going to do 1 to 2 things, potentially 3 things at the location. So 1 doing this spot, triggering a die if that happens, and then using this action on the card. I can spend my last ruble to put a resource out here, but I don't know if I want to do that, although it's not a terrible action for me to do that. Yeah, I will. I'm going to spend 1. And the reason why I'm doing that is because this location costs 4 resources. Well, you can only deliver up to 3. So eventually I'm going to, I don't want to waste that. So yeah. And you
got it off your board too.
That's right. I don't want to waste
either
of those.
Want not.
So I roll that, and it's a 6 again.
Okay, so on my turn, honestly, I don't have any rubles, and I kind of want to put a banner out. But if I put a banner out and I don't have the $3, the 3 rubles, then I can't get the token here, which really stinks. So, I mean, like, I'm not even close on these. There's nothing that even gets me close to this. That stinks.
Yeah.
I may just go ahead and do this for now. I think I will. Okay, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Because, and I don't know if we mentioned that, and I don't know if I mentioned that whenever I was here. I failed you, maybe Meepletown. You get the resource for how many dice are at that spot. So because there's 2, I'm going to gain 2 of these, which part of me is excited about that. But the other part of me is saying, man, I only have 3 spots left. And on top of that, I can't put a banner out until I get $3. My red die that I use triggers this green die, which gives me this, which is cool. But I've only got 2 spots left.
Yeah.
You really have to manage that well in this game.
You do.
And there you go, Dean.
And if you can put the resources out there, you must. And so now the good thing is in this game, there's ways to sell those off, potentially, especially, well, the lower ones, you can sell those off, and then you can trade them in for other goods. So there's other ways to get rid of that. Hey, John, what you did is exactly what I needed you to do, even with the yellow die and everything.
Oh, I'm going to take the ruble, sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Oh, that's probably what I should have done too, but I did not.
Yeah,
I spent my ruble instead. 1, 2, 3. Now that's going to give me 4 rubles.
That's huge.
That's
and now I'm like stuck again.
I also,
not good.
Because I used my yellow die, I triggered the blue one, which is going to give me another purple jewel. I'm afraid I need that blue die to move
a
out
little
of there.
too far here potentially.
And now again, I can trade in 2 for 1, or 1 and a ruble for 1, but I don't think I'm going to do that yet because having those jewels will be important at some point.
There we go. Okay, not really what I was, not something I'm excited about there, Dean. So I'm looking over here and seeing that I've got my gold, I need some brick, I also need 1 wood. Unfortunately, there's nothing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I could get 2 wood here. If I do that though, I'm clogging up this. Now I could actually give up. Let me just do that to get a few rubles. Let's do that. Let's just go ahead and do it right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You did roll your stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not pretty sure. Okay. I'm going to gain 2 of these. And then what I can do with this action is I can trade in those for money, and I need money bad. So I'm going to trade this one in. Part of me is tempted to trade both of them in because this symbol means I can do it as much as I want. There may be a lightning symbol that says that you can do it like 1 time, right? But that means infinitely. I'm super tempted. I'm going to do it. Oh, am I?
I don't know.
Man, that's tough. Because, I mean, if I want to put another banner out, I've got to have $3 if I want to get that bonus. I'm going to do it. This may be stupid. This may be stupid town. I'm going to do it twice to gain that so that I can have my 3 rubles. And also, because I use the red die, gain another one of these, which I don't even know if I want that. Do I have to take that? Do I have to use the other one? Or is it a may?
What are you talking about? Sorry, I was
using
looking at
this
my
bonus
turn.
action.
Yeah, you don't have to do the bonus
so.
action if you don't want
I didn't
to.
think so. But I just want to make sure. I've played this several times and I'm just...
It stinks because you're not going to get it.
I'm not taking it.
But
I'm not
you're
taking
right.
it because I don't have enough spots right now to get what I...
Yeah.
That's tough, but that's what I'm doing.
I'm kind of looking out here too, and I think I really need to get some wood and stone, and there's not really any great ways to get that right now. I can go 1, 2, 3 and get these stones. That actually could be helpful. But I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to clear another spot, which I'm surprised John hasn't done this yet. But I'm going to clear this.
I didn't have the money to do it. I mean, I could have done it. Oh, you mean?
Oh, that's right. And you don't, I think you did mention this, but you don't have to spend the 3 to put this out on the board.
No.
But what happens is it goes face down and you just waste it, you know? And so that becomes a stinker. You don't want to waste it if you don't have to. I did have the rubles for it, so I'm going to spend 3. I'm going to pull, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do this whenever I activate my green die. I'll then get to activate the red spot. And that will be my turn. Kind of setting myself up here. You do have the rubles now, don't you?
I do, and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to pay 3. I'm going to open up another spot here for now. Now, I'm actually torn, Meepletown, because if I go here, I really would like that. A white die there. But I'm only getting 3 points. It's very easy to do, though. However, I don't have a stone, and I don't have a brick. Over here, I'm going to get more points, and I already have one of the golds. And guess what? These slots are precious.
Yeah,
and I've got 2 of them clogging it up, so I've got to get something to get gold out. But I'm still going to take this.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would have done the same thing probably.
And then I'm going to choose... You know what? You chose green. Actually... interesting that those would give us me to the same spot. I'm going to choose blue because you chose green. How about them apples?
Okay. All right, now I kind of set myself up for this turn so I can activate my green one. 1, 2, 3. By activating, I mean I'm moving that. I'm going to move that 3 to give me 2 stone. And then when I do that, it's going to trigger my red die, which is going to give me 2 wood. So I'm really setting myself up for this location. This is a big boy turn, John. That's what I'm not playing around this time. And then I can activate this one. I can deliver something, which actually is not a terrible idea, but getting rubles for me, I think right now is going to be very important. So I'm just going to roll this, and my turn is over. I'm rolling like the same thing every time.
1, 2, 3 is not super helpful for me. That one with that is not super helpful for me. I mean, I know that I need wood since I gave up my wood. I really need brick because I need brick on both of those. So I can go here, which is cool, but I only get 2, which that's actually not bad because then I don't clog it up too much. I am also using my red, which would give me another green, but I don't know if I'll take that. I will take my 2 brick here. And I could trade in for some rubles as well, but I'm not going to this turn. I could trigger the green. Oh, the green is right here now. Oh, but I don't have enough spots to take 2.
Yeah, you can still take the 1, but...
Yeah, I could also sell something. But I only need 1, so I'm just going to pass it right now.
Okay.
You can take the 1? If I need just 1?
You take up to what you have.
All right, so man, I am filled up, bro.
Yeah, you are.
To the brim.
To the brim.
I think I need to probably deliver some goods.
I wouldn't normally say this, but I'm going to. I don't want to draw attention to what John's about to do, but one thing you need to know is if the person ahead of you, like higher up above you, builds that before I build this,
lose a point.
I'm going to lose a point for that.
But it may not be that big of a deal because if you're going to gain prestige, then who cares?
That's right. It's not awful. But I might not gain prestige and that might not make that up. But the problem is I can go ahead and deliver here and finish this one, which... But
then I couldn't.
Which would be very helpful. Now, what that would... Well, you can't deliver there though, can you? But I can't either. Anyway, talking through this. What can happen in this game is once I do this, John could then potentially come right behind me and put his door on there and mess me up. But You don't have any doors. You don't have any wood
I have
to build
a
your
door,
doors.
and I have this and this.
Yep, but you don't have your wood that you need. And so that's good for me. I do think I'm going to deliver.
I would not like for you to do that at this point.
If I do the yellow die, it triggers my blue one. Oh, that actually could be very helpful to do that instead. I might. Ooh, goodness, I don't know what to do.
Oh my god!
But that's okay. I can handle that. So I'm going to deliver here. So 2 wood and a stone. All right, and I already have my gold there. So these are all going to go over there.
Get your 8 points.
I will get 8 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'll get 4 coins, 4 rubles.
That's big time.
And my flag will stay on this card right there. And now this one's ready for an ornament. Now I mentioned that you could put an ornament there. It doesn't matter who built that. Anybody can put an ornament on there. So John can just rush right in there.
But I don't have wood like
But he
this.
doesn't have it.
So I'm going to deliver as well. As Dean mentioned, I am going to finish that top one and go ahead and put, so I'm going to put 1 here and 1 here, which will finish that. And I'll go ahead and take, doesn't really matter. I'll put 1 there because you can put 3. Boop. So I'm going to get, and I'm doing that in part because, hey, I'll take my ruble. But mostly I'm doing it to make Dean go backwards 1. But, you know, honestly, he didn't go back behind that.
Yeah.
So it might be completely for naught. I gain 3, 1, 2, 3, and I get 1 ruble.
Yeah,
So.
and the reason why I didn't super care that happened is because I'm probably going to be able to put an ornament on that right away. I think I will be able to, actually. So I'm going to move my yellow die right here. I'm going to take that green gem. When I do that, I get to trigger the red one, which is going to give... Oh, no, sorry, the blue one, which is going to give me another purple. I don't really need any purple. Yep, I really don't, but I'm going to take it anyway. That's how I roll. And then I can trigger this one. I don't really have a ton of resources or a ton of rubles for that matter. Although, yeah, I'm not going to. So I'm just going to roll this one, 3 there, and I'm done.
Okay. I'm going to... I really wanted that 1.
Not a good place to get wood right now, is there?
No, that's what I was really sad about your roll there. I really need to have wood in this game. I mean, there's other thing about this game is you can, like, you know, go here and get some wood that way. But the problem is that's not easy to get to that spot either. Oh man, I do not like the way these dice are right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not great. Now you can take a chance. You can spend a prestige
Take a chance
point
on me.
So I think you may have mentioned some of this. So you can spend a prestige point to take 2 rubles, or you can spend a prestige point to reroll dice at a location. It's not really worth it though, is it? Because you have to.
But
move
it is
back.
for me.
Oh, it is
Actually,
for you. You only
I
have to
think
move
I'm
back
going to do
1.
that this round
There
just
you go.
because I only have 1 ruble. Still not sure what to do here because I really just need. I need wood and bricks. No, that doesn't work either. I guess I could do that. Okay.
Since we're not playing through a full game, by the way,
I'm going
we're
to
just going
spend
to
my
play through
rubles and I'm going to keep clearing out these spots.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take that. I do need brick, like 1 more brick, so that's not bad. I'm going to toss it over here in this. No, I mean the yellow die because I like the yellow one and that's set up to do that. Okay. You just go one more time?
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the way that the game
I'll
is.
talk about some of the end game scoring. And, you know, interesting decision. Since you did that, getting a ruble engine from these can be kind of helpful.
Yeah, it can be nice.
But what I need to do right off the bat is just deliver 3 goods, which is going to be the ones that I need to put the ornament on the building so I can show you what happens there and show you why I didn't care too much that I moved back here.
Yeah.
So what I did is I delivered those at this location to put an ornament on this section of the building that John completed. Now I could have just spent a stone and put that up there, okay? I didn't have to take any points from it. I could have just put a stone and one of those resources, one of those jewels, and just gotten 1 prestige. But if you can, and especially early on, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
To put whatever
That's
this
why I went ahead and
resource
got those,
is.
so I can be ready.
That's right. 1 green and 1 purple, and then move up 3, 1, 2, 3 prestige at the beginning of the game is helpful, right?
Got me.
Now, it's not a game.
I'm in his dust.
It's not a game ender by any chance because John will be able to do the same
We've
thing.
had games where other player was way out ahead and the other one came back and won.
Yeah, you can definitely do that in this game.
Absolutely can.
So let me explain now. We'll kind of end it there. What happens over here? This is kind of the biggest difference at the end of the game. So this is an area control, area majority. There we go. Area majority part of the game. So let's say we completed this section of the cathedral. Then at the end of the game, this is going to score. And all of these areas will work that way. They're going to score if you have them completed. And let's say, put another ornament or two on there. There we go. Put the cross on the top. So now what you're going to do is...
Only on completed columns.
That's right. You're going to figure out how many points this is worth. So every one that's completed is worth 2, plus 1 for each ornament out there. So that's 2, 3, 4 points that this is worth. Now, whoever has the majority in this area, which you're going to count up ornaments of the player's color and their banners that they have. So John has 2, I have 3. I'm going to get 4 points for that. Whoever gets second place is going to take half of those points. And when I'm talking points, everything at the end of the game is just straight up prestige. You're not worried about the influence points at that point. And so this becomes really important at the end of the game, right? Because you can get a lot of points from that, and it can really... This can change the game. It can flip-flop the scores at the end of the game. You're also going to get a point for each set of 5 resources and rubles that you have. Usually not a ton of points that way, but you can get some.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Am I missing anything else?
No.
Nailed it.
I mean, the way that the influence goes back a couple at the end of the game, too, or whatever.
That's right. So let's say at the end of the game, let's say the game is over and I'm right here on this spot. You're going to move back to the nearest prestige location on there, and then you're going to start counting, because at the end, the only thing that matters is the prestige points that you get.
It's kind of like rounded down.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, art and components?
Art and components, yep.
Okay, I'll start off. I love the art in this game. It's fantastic, right? Look at this box. Love it.
It is a cardboard box, so you're kind of right.
Oh, it's great. I mean, look at the art on the back of these cards here.
That you never see.
No, it's still fantastic, though. It's beautiful.
All of the art for the cathedral pieces, too, is really nice. They're all different, you know? I mean, like, that's cool. I love that because it actually gives you the feel of St. Basil's Cathedral. I like that.
And the art in here is fantastic. It has, like, the Innish like feel to me, I feel like.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. Just saying. I love it. I love it. The art is fantastic. The iconography is really good in this game. You got the jewels. They're nice. You got the banners, not just cubes.
Yep. And all of this in a small box. And it barely fits in that small box. Like, you have to get it in there correctly for that box lid to go down tight, which I appreciate that, actually.
Devir always does a good job with this. Like, I feel like they have a great price on a game that has, like, there are some cardboard pieces. There's cardboard money. But, you know, when you add, I would rather it be a little cheaper than have all kinds of crazy things and this be a $50 game.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like a $30 game or so.
35, I think, is what MSRP, which is
you can find it.
That's a really good price, I think.
I agree with that.
All right. But does the gameplay match up?
Does it match up with the I don't know. You go first and tell with the art.
For me, it does. I like games where you are only doing one thing on your turn. It's not like all of my favorite games have that, but I tend to like that in games. And if your turns go pretty fast, you can see you're thinking through what you're going to do. Now, the dice might change and you might have to rethink your strategy once somebody ahead of you takes their turn. But you usually have a general idea. Am I trying to get resources? Am I trying to claim these different locations? Am I going to deliver goods to those locations? You usually have an idea of what you're going to do, and you can accomplish that pretty quickly. The only thing that really slows down the gameplay is when this board changes up. And I will say this, in our first game, we found ourselves counting a lot, and that can cause some slowing down of the game. But if you realize that the 4 is straight across, like if you move 4 spaces, that's straight across on the board, and then you can just work, before and after that, it works a lot easier and turns go pretty quick.
Yeah, I think the turns are, you might have noticed while we were playing the game that it might have been a little slower because we're explaining our thoughts.
Yeah.
But when you eliminate that, I think the turns can be, like, I agree, there is the potential for someone to sit there and go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me think about that. 1, 2, 3,
For
we
all 5 guys.
We all play with players like that. You know what I mean? And so that could be a turnoff for some people. I just wouldn't play the game with players like that if possible. Be like, you can't play with me.
You can't come to my party.
Too long. But yeah, no, I think that's really cool. I enjoy the decisions with the dice and with the idea that not like you, and this is what could cause AP is you're gonna see where it's gonna end, how many you're going to get, what action's here, and potentially what action you have unlocked here. Like if I use the green die, or if Dean used the green die, he's also going to set off the red. So would that be advantageous now, or he doesn't really need brick?
Mm-hmm.
But wow, I really like, I want to trade in 3 because I have a ton of rubles, and like gain a prestige for that's really great. Plus, I could really use 2 of those gems there. Those are really cool and fun decisions.
Yeah. I agree with that. I love everything triggering everything in this game, but it's not too overwhelming. Like you're going to trigger potentially 3 things in the move where you move the dice, and you're setting yourself up. There's that engine building of setting yourself up for which dice are going to be. Now that's going to change. You might think, well, I'd really like to take this red die action, and I can do that because I also want to take that yellow one, and that's why I'm going to put this red die in the yellow spot. Well, that's going to change throughout the game, so it's not always going to work out perfectly, but it can be a negative because that can really slow down play potentially, because not only are you counting out the spots, now you're thinking, oh, okay, I also have to figure out what that's going to trigger and what spot I'm going to, land on. So if I want to take these actions as well. Once you play it a couple times, though, I think that really goes away. Like you have an idea of what you need to do, and you get it done. Yep,
I really like the tactical nature of this part of it. Like when to flip it over becomes really important, because you're looking at the other players and going, do they have enough to put the ornament on there? But in conjunction with the tactical nature that you have the being hamstrung by like how many banners are out here. So like you have like I had the problem of I have these resources, I kind of have to do this even though I don't super want to right now, because I've got to free up some spots to get some more resources. On top of that, you get rubles over there. That can be a really big way to get those rubles to be able to get more things, to build more of an engine for your dice there. I think that's cool. And then the last thing I'm going to mention that I really like the way the scoring works in this game. I like games with interesting scoring, and the way the prestige works, the way you can give up even a prestige and when to do that to gain different things, I think is really cool. Really cool in this game.
I totally agree with that. I think one of the things that changes your strategy in the game are these cards that come out. So you talked about getting a lot of rubles.
Yeah.
Potentially, so some of these cards, I don't know if we explained this very well, but like this card right here, you can do this one time. Like one time I can spend a ruble to deliver a good. It's got that lightning bolt.
Or take
right
1 ruble.
Right. Or take 1 ruble, and that's a one-time thing. But then you have these cards
that one down there,
like this one right here, that lets you do that multiple times. So if you look at that infinity symbol over there, now I can, sell a bunch of these for $1, or I can buy those for 2 rubles. Yeah. So having rubles becomes very important, because if you're taking these spots a lot, and you're like, I don't care if I ever take the spots that have the gems there, because I can just spend the money because I'm getting a lot of money, and that's viable.
That is. You got to flip that around. That's going to drive me crazy.
Oh, sorry.
So negatives for me, I would say. We say this every time, but Devir always puts out really good games. I was super excited about this game. I just heard so many good things about it, and I like this game. But there's something about it that doesn't have me going. I feel like I'm like with the mechanics and stuff, I should just go crazy for this game. I still do like it. There's no doubt about it. But I think there's like over here at the cathedral, I don't know why, but I don't feel super satisfied by flipping things over on the cathedral. And I don't feel like, well, I also don't feel like, oftentimes I don't feel like I have to get that spot, right? Because all of them are going to score you, points, give you rubles. Like there are some that I kind of want more than others, but I don't feel like a need to go, I just have to get that one spot. Do you feel like that? Like
I do, like, but it usually has to do with these tokens that are on there more than anything.
And that is, but I feel like you can. Okay, so you don't get the gold, but you get this, which is already on gold. You know what I mean? So, and me, like I typically like that like tightness of racing to things, and I just don't feel like I'm just like dying to get that. I'm like, okay, well then I'll make something else work. So that's something that I just wasn't like, I don't know, for whatever reason. I think a lot of people were going to love that. But also wasn't super, like the area majority, which I usually like. I found in the games that we have played, which we played it several times, it kind of balances out oftentimes. That's a 2-player game. Just going to say, but based on how many banners you get out versus the other player, and the games that we've played, it's been roughly the same. But I will say the cool thing is sometimes the player who gets that last banner out to trigger it, if you don't get that like 6 points or 8 points or something from those cards, you could lose the game very easily. Yeah. So that part is really, really cool. Yeah, and there's a lot of just kind of, I'm getting this and this to flip over that, getting this and this to flip over that, which is fine.
I think it's, you mentioned this earlier, but I think it has more to do with the timing of this.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't mention this. The game end triggers whenever somebody has completed 6 of these.
6 of them, yes.
Six of the
I think I
sections.
said 7, but 6. Yeah.
Okay. And whoever does that is going to get 3 prestige points right off the bat, right at the end, which is
big.
That can be really big. Now, what you can do is if you don't care as much about that and you think, there's no way I'm going to win this one because John's going to get it, and if there's a lot of stuff on there, he might get, 5 points or something, and I might not get hardly any or any at all. You might say, forget that. I'm just not going to build this. Yeah. I'm not going to build this piece. Even if it means I'm going to lose those 3 prestige points, it's going to mean that you're not going to gain all those points at the end. I think you might see that more in a higher player count than you will in a 2-player, because eventually, one of the 2 of you is going to have to complete 6 sections.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's an interesting piece.
I do too. Final thoughts?
Yeah.
You want to go first? Me go first.
I can go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like this game. I was actually kind of blown away by this game, and it's pretty simple, but I like that simplicity of it. I like that your actions are fast. You're only going to be doing one of 3 different things. And then if you're taking resources, you might trigger 3 different things there.
Yeah.
But overall, like the game flows really well and it's really quick. Now, essentially you are just gaining resources and spending those. But I like the tightness of your board because you can't just take everything you need. You really have to think through, I don't have any spots on my board, so I can't just load up here. I've got to figure out ways to spend these as well, and I like that. So overall, I'm giving this one an 8.5 out of 10. This is one of my favorites of. This is a 2020 release.
That would have made your top 10, I'm sure, right?
Probably, yeah. I think so. I really have enjoyed all of my plays of this, and I've gotten a decent amount of plays in this, but I haven't played this one solo yet, and I'm interested to try that because I've been trying more solo stuff. You have?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yep, I enjoyed it solo. Messed up one of the rules, like a big old dummy, even though it was really obvious in the rule book. That was John Fail. Hashtag John Fail.
That's not a hashtag. It's not a real thing.
No, it is. Go ahead and start it out there in the YouTubes and internets. Mm-hmm. All right, so I really do like the way the dice work and those decisions have to go with, and you kind of feel some of the combo action going on, which is really cool. And I agree with you. I like the way that this is really tight and trying to figure that out. And I like how you can build like a little engine by which dice you pick up, which makes more interesting decisions on those dice that you have right there. I did say the kind of negative for me is like, for some reason, that wasn't as interesting to me as, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just didn't get that satisfied. I'm like, okay, I flipped it over. Cool. And like I said, a lot of times, like I can make something else work if I don't get, so I'm not feeling like I super have to have that. There are times where it is important, though. I will say that. It's like there are times where I'm like, oh man, I could get that 8 points at the end of the game, which could really give me a lot of prestige. I hope I can get that.
We didn't mention a negative part over here too that both of us I think had an issue with. Is kind of, we talked about the timing of these cards, but you can really just hold back. And like I can let John build his buildings, and then I'm just throwing my ornaments out there as soon as he builds something, which can be kind of frustrating. But it doesn't mean that he's going to win. It just means that I can't get my stuff out as fast because you can get a lot of points from those, especially early on. Yeah. But if he's doing that, he's holding off of him building his buildings,
which is meaning I'm probably not getting as many rubles. Yes. Because like that's a really big way to get rubles. So that's smart stuff that this game has. This game is like here, like the die that we might use the most is the one that we might take off the last because you can't use that ornament until you get to the top of that. So, I mean, there's a lot of really cool little smart things like that. But okay, overall, it's a solid game. I like it. Like Dean said, he was kind of blown away by it. I wasn't. I just thought it was a good, solid game, beautiful art. 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, which is still a good score.
Good score, yeah. Usually willing to play it. An 8 is I'm not going to turn down a game and stuff. Yeah, I'll just do a plug. Luna Capital, the game they just came out with, I like better than Red Cathedral. What do you think? You gave this a higher score, though.
I did. They're really close. I gave Luna.
You said you almost
8,
wanted to give it 8,
but it was close to 8.5. Yeah, I do like this better, but it's close. It's close.
What about this?
That was a high 8.
Or Paris City of Lights, another Devir game.
I gave that one an 8.5 or a 9 or
bonus
something like
action
that.
Here on the Meeple Towns. We're throwing it out.
Those are close.
Go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Tell me right now. So if you're looking at some of these really neat Devir games,
at this very moment, and it might not match up with my score, but I think this, Paris, and then Luna Capital.
Wow.
But they're close. Man, they're so good.
Mine are exactly the opposite.
Okay, there we go.
Luna Capital, Paris, this, but I like all 3 of these games.
And we still got some more on the way coming from Devir.
I think some of this is just kind of a personal thing why I didn't go, oh, it's an 8, 8.5. I know people love this game, and I totally understand why they love it. still 7.5 it's a good score.
Yeah.
8.5 is a great score.
Yeah, because it's a great game. 8.5, 8. Tell people how they can get in touch with us.
If you're enjoying our holy
This fly.
I don't know if they can see that or
It
not.
wasn't in here. We just did a video before this. And it was not
Oh
here.
my gosh. If you're enjoying our channel, we would love for you to subscribe to it. If you'd like to support what we're doing, go to patreon.com/Meepletown. We're at Meepletown Games on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we're Board Game Geek Guild 3407.
Thanks for coming down to Meepletown.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks to our Patreon supporters for making content like this possible. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, go to patreon.com/Meepletown. To follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, find us at Meepletown Games. Finally, to connect with us and other residents of Meepletown, you can join Guild 3407 at BoardGameGeek.com. Until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.